Today, guys, I'm really excited about sharing with you the three things that I do that have dramatically increased my success with Forex trading. But before I share those three tips for success in Forex trading with you, we will get started with the weekly analysis. This week is the 20th to the 24th of October, 2025. And always, as it's important to look at the news, the high impact news that's coming out for this upcoming week. And this is forexfactory.com, our go-to website for the news items. And there's some things on here that might not be released because of the continuing shutdown in the US, the big mess that they've got going on over there. But there are other items that will be released: New Zealand, Canadian, the pound, the euro. And what it has been announced that will definitely be released, and that is on the US economy. That's on Friday. They say that they will release the inflation data, the CPI numbers, for the important reason that it's these numbers that will allow them to adjust the Social Security payments for next year. So these are really critical data items that need to be released, and it's been announced that they will definitely release those. But from what we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks, we just have to wait and see. All right, but just be sure and check forexfactory.com for your local times and be aware of all of these high impact news items. And as we always do, I would jump into the last week's trades that I shared with you. I didn't have anything on Bitcoin, but I just want to show you here on the screen. We look at this every week, and we had that big massive move week before last. It dropped like $13,000 from 122 down to 107 just in 4 hours. Most of that was actually in 1 hour. But then starting on the Monday of last week, we got a little bit of a retracement, some recovery back up to our resistance zone there, 115,000. But then for the rest of the week, it's just started to go down again. And it did reach a low of 103,500, and it's not really doing much, mostly sideways today, Sunday, when I'm making this video. So we'll just wait and see what happens with Bitcoin. Is it going to drop to lower prices? We have strong support there at 105,000. So we'll see if that will hold. But if you buy Bitcoin, on DCA like me, dollar cost averaging, right now is a good time to buy. As you know, I don't trade Bitcoin, but I would say right now is a good time to buy, or I will have a pending order for you in just a few moments. And then the other thing that we looked at last week was gold, of course. And what do we have on the gold chart? Here is the pending order that I shared with you. It was a buy limit at 39.50 with a take profit at 4,100. And here we are on Monday with this yellow arrow. And as it has done for the last 3 or 4 weeks, doesn't come down to the pending order, but when the Asian Pacific market opens up on Monday, it just takes off like a rocket. And that's exactly what it did. This was the biggest week in history for gold. A rise from here on Monday, the Asian Pacific market, to this new all-time high, 3,800 pips in 1 week. A $380 increase on the price of gold in 1 week. This is just mind-boggling, the moves that we are seeing. Unbelievable. If you took one lot in the beginning of the Asian Pacific market, one standard lot trade, that's $38,000. A huge move. But it is what it is. Okay, so I hope that if you just woke up Monday and took a buy order anywhere on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even early Friday, before we finally started to see a correction in the US market on Friday, and it dropped nearly $200 just on Friday in the London and US sessions, a drop of nearly 2,000 pips on the last day of the last week. So some amazing moves on here. I hope you've been able to take advantage of these trades. I see some people saying, well, way back here weeks ago, we've reached a top. They're calling the top. And they start shorting gold. Why would you short gold? Why in the world would anybody think about selling gold? Just buy gold. And we have not seen the end of this yet, for sure. And for those of you that are trivia fans, here's a bit of trivia for you. In 2015, the price of gold was $1,000. It went up over the next 5 years to 2020. It went up to $2,000. It took 5 years to move $1,000. But now, from the 18th of August till the 17th of October, a period of 8 weeks, it has done the same thing. What it previously took 5 years to do, it has done that in 8 weeks. Unbelievable. Just a bit of trivia for you there. As I said in the beginning, I'm excited to share with you 3 things that I do that have dramatically increased my success with Forex trading. And I hope that these 3 tips will help you with your success in Forex trading. So tip number 1 is choose your time. Choose your time of trading. All right, I know, especially for beginning traders, the charts are addictive. And you just end up looking at the chart all the time, watching candles move up and down. Don't do that. All right, just consider it going to work. All right, for me, I like trading the Asian Pacific market. There are 3 markets: Asian Pacific, London market, and US market. Choose your trading time. So you could say I clock in for the Asian Pacific market and I trade for 2 hours every day. That's it. Only the beginning couple of hours, that's when most of the moves will happen. The beginning couple of hours of the Asian market or the London market or the US market. Choose your trading time. Don't be addicted to the charts. Don't just be checking your phone all the time. Don't be staring at the laptop. Choose your trading time. Consider this work. You go to work for a couple of hours, do what you got to do, and you're done. And tip number 2, choose your asset. Okay, and another fault of beginning traders is you've got a dozen things opened on your screen. You know, you got all the major pairs, a bunch of minor pairs, you've got gold, oil, platinum, silver. You can't look at all those things. You can't look at all those assets. You can't understand all of those assets. You can't analyze that many assets. Choose 1 or 2 assets that you follow on a regular basis and get to know your asset. Get to know your instrument. I trade gold. I've traded gold for years. And I understand how it moves. I know when it's likely to move. Of course, nothing is predictable, but there are patterns. And you can learn patterns if you'll focus on 1 or 2 assets. Limit yourself to 1 or 2 assets. Get to know them and trade during that time that you've allotted, either the Asian market, the London market, or the US market, and you will see a big improvement on your trading. Just trade 1 or 2 assets. And tip number 3, use a stop loss. I know it sounds like, okay, that's just standard procedure. A lot of people don't use a stop loss. You must use a stop loss. My discipline is I click buy or sell, I enter the trade, and within a few seconds, I place a stop loss. I am going to protect my capital. That is the most important thing you can do, is protect your capital. Why? Because the markets are designed to take your money. The markets don't care who you are. They don't care how much money you have. They will eat your lunch. They are ready and waiting to take your money. You must protect your capital. Place your stop loss and leave it where it is. If your trade hits the stop loss, then it hits the stop loss. Accept the loss. You are going to lose sometimes. You cannot win all trades. Anybody that says they're winning 100%, run away from them. They're lying. It's BS. Nobody wins 100% of the time. You will have losses. But if you use good risk management, and that's a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 2 is a minimum, 1 to 3 is better. 1 to 2, if you lose 3 trades out of 5, you'll still make profit. But you've got to use a stop loss on every single trade. Okay, those are my 3 tips. Those 3 things have helped me dramatically to improve my success in Forex trading. But you'll notice they require discipline. You've got to be disciplined in trading. Choose your time, choose your asset, and use a stop loss. And you can be successful as a Forex trader. All right, let's jump over and look at the pending orders that I have for you. And of course, we always look at the DXY, see what that's doing. And previously, people have been saying, well, the dollar's getting stronger. No. Same old story. All right, it did make a bit of a recovery, some retracements. They like to get up close to the 100 mark, but now it's doing what it has been doing since January of this year, starting its continuing decline. So continuing decline of the US dollar, so bullish on most of the US pairs and certainly bullish on gold. So now let's jump over to the pending orders and let's see what I have in place for this upcoming week. And with Bitcoin, go to my 4-hour chart where my pending orders are. And Bitcoin is a buy limit, all right, with the entry price of 105,000. As I said previously in this video, it looks like that is our strong support. If you go back further, it is support. And so it looks like we've bounced off of this trend line that we've got here. It might go down today or tomorrow to 105,000. And let's just wait and see if it'll hold that support. If it does, then that's a good place to buy. If you're trading Bitcoin, 105,000, and then moving up to higher prices, hopefully during the week. Just wait and see what Bitcoin's going to do. All right, then we look at the major pairs. Euro-US is a buy. Okay, market execution. With a continuing decline of the US dollar, we should start to see bullishness on the major pairs. So I have a buy market execution order, and right where the price is now, 1.1650. With the odd US, this is also a buy market execution. That means when the market opens on Monday morning, with the Asian Pacific market, buy, and the price where it is now, 0.6490. The New Zealand US, let that one retrace just a little bit. So I have a buy limit on the New Zealand US. See if it'll come down to our support level, previous resistance, now support, the entry price 0.5716. And the pound US, a buy limit. All right, let that one retrace just a little bit to our support level at the entry price of 1.3410. And the USD CAD, no trade. Okay, it's crazy what the USD CAD is doing. In fact, on the day chart, it's bullish. On the 4-hour chart, it's bearish. And that's no clear direction. And if you follow me at all, you know when I have no clear direction, for me, that means no trade. With the UJ, the USD JPY, sell. Okay, market execution at the price where it is now is 150. All right, and that should start to go back down to where it was. We had a huge gap up previous week, before last week, the previous week. That was because of the election or appointment of the new prime minister in Japan, and then it continued to move upwards on that. But now we're starting to see the retracement, the correction back to what it has been doing. So I have a sell order market execution on the USD JPY. And then going over to everyone's favorite, XAU USD. What in the world? You know, I like to wake up on Monday morning and buy gold. But we have been seeing this retracement here from the previous last week, the Friday London session and US session, where that huge drop that we had, nearly 2,000 pips. So I have a buy limit on that one. Let it see if it will retrace back to our support level here, previous resistance, now support at 4220, the entry price, with a take profit at 4,400. We almost reached that last week. It got up to 4,380, or at $20 away from 4,400. So we're likely to see at least 4,400 and possibly 4,500 next week, or beyond that. It's incredible what gold is doing. So your entry price at 4220, but again, as I've said every video for the last several weeks, wait and see what the Asian Pacific market is going to do. If we get any kind of a gap up or gap down, if it just starts to move away from this support zone, then it's very, very safe to just go ahead and buy, because usually on Monday morning with the Asian Pacific market, it will oftentimes set the trend for what's going to happen for the next several days, or possibly for the entire week. Okay, guys, that's a wrap for today. I hope that these tips and suggestions, these pending orders, will help you to be successful in your trading of Forex. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below this video. I will get back to you. And if you're new to the channel, be sure you subscribe and click that little bell so you'll be notified every time I make one of these videos. And until next week, I'll see you again. Don't forget, be kind to yourself and be kind to others.